PowerPoint presentation. We have no props, and I have no talk. Because we're going to practice what the talk is about today. So we are talking today about divine love in me, as me, is me. And what the heck does that mean, right? So I thought it was very funny. I removed my talk like 3 times, the date. So the talk title was always the same, but the daily word was spot on. Did anyone notice that? Coincidence? I don't think so. So think about that for a second. What do we in Unity usually say? We say I am statements, right? We say I am love. I am power. I am that I am. We sang it today, right? I am that I am. What does that mean? What is this I am that we're referring to? What is the Christ consciousness we're referring to? How often when you say thank you God about something, do your eyes by habit go upward? Or you raise your hand? How many of us grew up in a spiritual religious background where God was something out there? How many of you still have that niggling little bit of you that still sees God or that divine love or whatever out there? I find myself doing it sometimes. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. I'm like, what? Wait, where'd that come from? Thank you, God. Divine love, right? We say, what is God? God is love, yes? Can we agree God is love? Unless we're still stuck on that God is shame, guilt, fear, vengeful. That one? No, we're going with God is love. So what is sin? It's very funny, this whole concept of original sin and original blessing has come up numerous times in the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to address it for a second. I used to have a Course in Miracles-based spiritual center in Cocoa Village in Florida. And in Merritt Island, right next to us, was a very thriving, still is, a very thriving Methodist church, the Georgiana Methodist Church. And Reverend Corky is the Methodist minister there. And we at our center would have Sunday night experiences. And we had a Sunday night conversation that we would do with another spiritual leader of some faith to help people work through issues they might have with various different faiths. And Corky agreed to talk with me about original sin versus original blessing. Massive showdown, right? So here's what he says. I say, so Corky, explain to me, I grew up Methodist on my mom's side, German Lutheran on my dad's. So explain the Methodist version of original sin. And I thought half the congregation was going to walk out right then, right? They're like, yeah, no. So he explains that in the Methodist tradition, what original sin is talking about is the fact that when we came into this world, we had a thought that was erroneous. Anybody familiar with sin equals error of thinking, yes? So we had a thought. Our original sin was we came into this world thinking we were separate from God. How is that any different from original blessing? Remembering that we are one with God. So we think we're separate from God, but the original blessing is the truth that we are always one with God. It's been fascinating in the 2 years we've been doing Course in Miracles downstairs. One of the hardest pieces of homework that people get some weeks is to say over and over again, looking in the mirror, I am God. Think about saying that to yourself. I am God. Oh, heck, let's practice it. I am God. Now, where does that feel ooky to you? Sacrilegious. Ooky is an official word. It's an official word, ookie, O-O-K-I-E. Some people spell it with a Y, but they're from New Zealand or something, so. So ookie, where does it feel ooky? Where does it feel sacrilegious? To say, I am God. There's a wonderful Unity minister, Paul Hasselbach, who, I think that's how you say his name, who taught a course that I took at Unity of Melbourne one year, and he gets up on the stage and I am God. And I was like, what an arrogant guy. And then after the week of classes, I went, he is God, and so am I. I am God. Say it again. I am God. Who finds that a little discomforting? Own it, okay? So we're going to transform that a little bit. Because if the truth is that divine love in me, as me, is me, then that is a true statement. I am God, but we're going to switch it around a little so that we can get comfortable with this phrase instead. God is me. Say that. God is me. Is that a little more comfortable? Yes. Because now we can feel God in us. So I had asked David, I think it's adorable, you guys call him Dave when he's not here. I will never tell him because he will never watch this video. Yes, he will. Oh, no, now he will know. Oopsie. So you guys, when you do your offering statement, I asked David, how do you guys say this? And it's divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have, et cetera, right? Some unity churches have gone a step beyond. They say divine love in me. So now it's not just divine love somewhere out there in the universe. It's divine love in me. So there's some part of me in me that's blessing and multiplying the things that I have and that I am and experience and do, right? Some little part. Divine love in me. Have you ever seen that Christ consciousness thing reminded me of this? Have you ever seen that story or read that story of footprints on the sand? Where I'm walking along and there's two footprints and I feel God's presence with me and all is right and well with the world. And then all of a sudden there's only one set of footprints and it's at the worst time of my life. And my ego comes out, cranky cape and all, and says, where'd you go? I needed you. And Jesus says, oh, that was when I carried you. Reinforcing that lovely separation of us, right? So what if the truth is, anybody hear of the Zika virus recently? Okay, awesome. So we have the Zika virus of God, okay? So what if it's not that God's carrying us, but that we are carrying God like the most powerful virus on the world, on the planet, in the universe? You can't get rid of it. There's no vaccine. There's no cure. There's no antibodies. You're stuck with it. And it just keeps multiplying. And how it multiplies is every time you breathe. Every time you extend love to someone. This God virus just keeps growing and growing. And you know what the biggest symptom is? You know, you get chickenpox virus, you get the little bumps and stuff. The God virus, you become almost translucent. You become lighter and lighter. People have to get their shades out to talk to you because you are such bright light in this world. And anything you touch with your thoughts, with your words, with your actions, anything, your very presence in the room, you are that contagious. It spreads the virus everywhere, and it's unstoppable. That's divine love in you. So now let's say you know you have this virus. So what do? Do you stay home so that you don't ever infect anyone else with this horrendous thing? Do you apologize? I'm not going to touch you or shake your hand today because, you know, I've got the God virus. I don't want you to catch it. What do? You extend, right? You want everyone to get this thing. You don't want to be the only one with this God virus, right? Like, you know, I'm going to share my light with you. So good to see you today. Now you've caught it. Blah. Oh, see, it's multiplied already. Look at that. It's spreading. It's spreading everywhere. You can't escape it unless you leave now before you get touched. But you've breathed the air we've been breathing, so you already have it. So you've been coming here, you already have it. Doesn't matter if you've traveled around the globe, you already have it. You've got it. Nothing you can do about it. Unless you want to pretend that you aren't God expressing in this world, that you aren't God extending in this world. How many people just today decided to be cranky, chose to be cranky in some way, shape, or form today? Awesome! Does that make them any less God? No. Our ego wants to say so. They're acting unloving. No, they're not. They're choosing a role. They're choosing a costume. They're choosing to play a part. If everything is happening in divine order, if God in me, as me, is me, then every opportunity I have to connect with any other person expands that for them. You know, Ginger shared, I saw Ginger the couple times I've spoke here before. We said, hey, nice to see you, hugs, whatever. And literally, I was setting up the chairs and stuff, and she walked through the classroom to go to the classroom where they were having their event, and that little voice said, stop and say hi to her. Talk to her. She's got an amazing energy. How many people would agree that Ginger has an amazing energy? Okay, she's got a little light in the world, yes. A big light in the world. Light in the world. And so I just walked up to her, we had this conversation. And I don't know about you, but God often gives me messages to share with people. And it used to be that I'd go, why would I say that? Someone's going to smack me. Really? I had a friend, I still have a friend, Shirley Proctor in North Carolina, that I'd get messages for her. And I'd finally just call her up and say, could you please pay attention to what God's telling you? Because I'm tired of delivering messages for you. But you don't really say stuff like that to strangers, right? But I said, hey, would you like me to share something with you? And she was kind enough to say yes. And I shared it. And it lifted both of us up. So how often do you have an opportunity to take that divine love in you and express it as you? If you knew for certain that God is you, would you ever not speak up when you're guided? Would you never not extend love? Do you love double negatives? Do you not love double negatives? Now I've lost myself. But think about that. Every moment you're having a connection with someone. You have a fender bender. It's an awesome opportunity to meet someone new. Someone was sharing with me a while back about some Unity minister who was like an amazingly reckless driver and would speed everywhere. And she was about yay tall, apparently. She was a minister out in D.C. And her joke was, because she'd had so many accidents, anytime she ran into someone or someone ran into her, she'd get so excited and she'd go, oh, I wonder who I'm going to meet today. Now that's God expressing as you, yes? It's recognizing, hey, this is who I am. This is who I am. I am divine love. Divine love in me, as me. And the as me is me expressing, me extending. There is one power and one presence in this world. Yes? God the good, omnipotent. And we have this thought in our head that there's God the good, and we invoke that to drive out what? The evil. Right? The darkness. What does physics teach us about darkness? Darkness is an absence of light. That's it. Darkness in and of itself does not exist. So if that is true, is it possible that evil, our perception of evil, is nothing more than an absence of good? And if we're not the ones extending the good, who's going to do it? And then our ego goes, well, how come I'm always the one who has to extend? Why do I always have to apologize first? Why do I always have to step up and volunteer first? Why do I always have to blah, blah? Because you're God. Isn't that what God would do? God's going to sit back and go, yeah. Like God, like the myth of Santa Claus. Don't tell my son I said that. Shh, erases. I didn't really mean that, Coop. I'm speaking directly to the camera because he will watch this. I was joking. So like some people think that Santa Claus isn't real, right? But they say he checks off a list, right? The naughty and the nice. So it's not like God's up there like Santa Claus going, naughty, nice, still on the fence about Mark. Okay, 2 thumbs up. No, God just says yes. Who here is worried about something right now? I'm sorry, for the guys. Who here is concerned about something right now? Okay. I'm not worried. My favorite is I'm not afraid. I'm just concerned. That's right. In a terrified way. Whatever you want to call it. Thank you for owning that. Concerned in a terrified way. I like that. So think about that a second. You're worried about something. You're afraid of something. You're concerned in a terrified way about something. or even in a minor way about something. That's a wasted use of not only your energy, but your imagination, your creative force. Here's this opportunity for you to express the truth of who you are, to be God in action, because God is me. Who is Batman? Sorry? Bruce Wayne. How come everybody knows that? How come I don't know, that was good. So Bruce Wayne is Batman, right? Or is Batman Bruce Wayne? Ooh, it's a Quan. Let's see. Let us sit and meditate on this for a while, shall we? So think about this. If this is who we are, divine love in us, as us, is us. Now that you know God is you, you have some choices. You can wander around in costume of cranky person, guilty person, unworthy person. We can all pick our own characters, right? Abandoned person, powerless person, dying off person. Who did I miss? There's 6 of them. Powerless, unworthy, abandoned, guilty, dead or dying off. Oh yes, my favorite. I am lacking or limited in some way, shape, or form, yes? I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough time, energy, love, respect. What else don't I have enough of? Money. I don't have enough. And the universe says, yes! Any Princess Bride movie fans out here? The universe is the young man rolling down the hill saying, as you wish. What did Jesus say? As you think I am, yes? I am who you think I am. So who do you think you are? Do you think you are this little being? Then awesome. You are who you think you are. Do you think you are limitless? Then awesome. You are who you think you are. I was getting dressed this morning, and Cooper was down the hall in his room singing at the top of his lungs. And at first he was singing a Minecraft song about Creeper-ayo, and I don't know the rest of the words, but it's this tune. And then in the middle of singing it, and mind you, he's singing at the top of his lungs, he starts singing, I will be amazing, I will be famous, I will not fail, over and over and over again. Can you say, I am amazing? I am amazing. I am famous. I succeed. How does that feel? Where does it not feel true? Ooh, yes. That lovely intake of breath, the nasal flares, the kind of neck tension thingy. Never, ever invite me to play poker with you, I'm just saying. The joys of being a mediator is I like to read microscopic expressions. So think about that a second. The part of you that thinks you're not those things is that part of you that still thinks you're separate from God. So what would happen if you took a deep breath? We're going to go into a meditation for a second here. Can we skip the I cast my cares? Okay, so just close your eyes a second. And I'm just going to repeat stuff to you. Just allow it to infuse into you. Take another deep breath. Divine love. Divine love in me. Divine love as me. Divine love being me blesses and multiplies all that I am. The divine love that I am. The divine love that I extend. The divine love that is me in every cell, in every thought, in every action blesses and multiplies me, my experiences, my resources, my connections with others. The divine love that I am blesses everyone whose path even crosses mine. It blesses and radiates out from me as me, infusing every situation with light. The divine love in me as me is me transforming my thoughts of lack and limitation, my thoughts of powerlessness, unworthiness, illness, all of those thoughts. The divine love as me is me transforming those thoughts into right, true perceptions of my holiness, of the perfect nature of whatever is going on. The divine love in me as me dissolves all expectations, dissolves all attachments. The divine love in me as me is releasing me. Take a deep breath and let it go. Is releasing me from everything and anything that I have ever misperceived as being less than that Christ consciousness, of being less than that divine light and love and energy that I am. Take a deep breath and see you peeling off all of these costumes, these fake forms that you've created in your mind, that you think protect you in some way, shape, or form. Peel them off till all that's left is the radiant light being of you. And see as you take each layer off, little cracks of light shining through until all that is left is that sheer radiant light that you are. And I want you to extend that light energy. Extend it out from yourself as far as you can reach. From your body to the next body, to the entire room, to this entire town, to the entire state, to the entire continent, to this entire globe, out into space, to the bazillions of stars and other planets and systems, and every bit of this limitless universe. It is all you. It is all you. Divine love in you, as you, is you. You can be nothing less unless you choose to be it. We're going to gently bring ourselves back with a little lovely music from our music team. Allow yourself to just sit with this and bring yourself back slowly.